Hey everyone, it's Joy here, and I'm excited to share with you the Create in Quads Poster Prints Stencils and the Create in Quads Sugar Cube Paper Pack. Now here are those stencils. They are 4 layers of stencils. The Sugar Cube Paper Pack, I'll be using some Toffee Cardstock, the Fun Foil Gold Shimmer and Glitter Grab, the Simple Strips Friendship, the Simple Strips Die, Oreo, Mulled Wine, Honey, and Sweet Basil ink, blender brushes. I'll also be using the Misty and the Mink machine. So I have that Sugar Cube cardstock. This measures 8 by 10.5. I have a little bit of low tack tape on the side so I can hold my stencil down to my cardstock. And I'm starting with the Sweet Basil ink. I'm going to ink blend. This is stencil number 1. They are numbered 1 through 4. The first 3 stencils that I'm going to use ink. The 4th stencil, we are going to use that Fun Foil Gold Shimmer. So when I ink blend, I like to have lighter and darker areas. Just like if I'm coloring with like a Copic marker or something like that, I like to create light areas and darker areas. I like to do the same thing with my stenciled images. So as you can see here, I have some darker areas and some lighter areas, and that is on purpose. Okay, here is stencil number 2. I'm going to lay it in place. You can just line it up. There's little register marks around the side that line up with that cardstock. So as long as every stencil is lined up with that cardstock, all of your stencils will be nicely lined up. This is Mulled Wine, and isn't it so gorgeous? Again, doing the same thing. So with those bigger flowers, I was darker in the center and then blended out lighter towards the end. I'm going to do the same thing with these flowers. Darker at the bottom, lighter at the tips. Okay, let's bring in that 3rd stencil. And this is where I'm going to use Honey ink. And this pop of like this goldish yellow is so pretty with that Sweet Basil and Mulled Wine. This is a gorgeous color combination. Blending again, darker at the base of the flowers, lighter towards the tip. You could also use the small blender brushes, the bitty blender brushes, which would make stuff like this even easier. I just used the big one, but you could definitely use the smaller ones, and you could get in a lot more in the more precise areas that you wanted if you were going to do your blending this way. I am going to set this aside to dry for a few minutes. I want that ink to dry. Then I'm going to add the 4th layer. We're going to use Glitter Grab because this works with the Fun Foil Gold Shimmer and the Mink machine. So I'm going to make sure all of my little circles and dots on each of the 4 images line up good. I want to do a nice thin layer. Glitter Grab is on the thinner side, which is really nice. It spreads beautifully, but I want to make sure I get a nice layer. So I'm going to make sure all of the excess is taken off. I just want to fill those little areas. This is just going to be little bits of details, flower centers, stripes on flowers, things like that, but it's going to add a really nice touch with the gold shimmer and shine. So I'm going to scrape off all that excess, peel this back, and I'm going to let this dry for a good little while. You want it to be dry to the touch. Then I have pieces of the gold shimmer Fun Foil that I trimmed down. I'm laying across that whole card panel. I haven't trimmed it down yet. My Mink machine is on number 5. The light is green. I'm putting it through in the carrier sheet. And then I'm going to gently pull this back. And I did let my cardstock cool down a little bit before I pulled it back. And then let's take a look at all that fun gold foil. Now, this measured 8 by 10.5. So each card panel will be 4 by 5.5 when you trim it down. On some Toffee cardstock in my Misty, I did remove the foam insert. I am inking up with Oreo ink the Simple Strips Friendship Sentiment on this nice Toffee cardstock. I'm going to ink that up a couple times. I will use the coordinating die, those little squares on the side. You just line the die up with that. I'm going to tape it in place with low tack tape, and then you have all of these sentiments stamped and die cut within minutes. I have placed my card panels on some Toffee card bases, A2 size. I'm adding some foam sticky strips behind my sentiments and placing those down. And then we can take a look at these cards up close. Look at how pretty they are. This goes super fast with the exception of the dry time, which really didn't take long at all. And then you have these beautiful cards with a little touch of foil. I love these Create and Quad stencils because you can mass produce cards so easily. Thank you so very much for stopping by and watching. You can find all of these products at the Tailored Expressions web store at tailoredexpressions.com.